Very good session.
So tell me, what should I do? Any suggestions? So how is everybody's spiritual life doing?
Guru Maharaj, yesterday,
Rounds?
yesterday I could not chant even one round
Why?
because from early in the morning till late at night I was just doing one thing or the other, one thing or the other with the seminar. And
Then maybe I should come and give you some.
so today I have today's rounds and yesterday's rounds.
No, shouldn't do that. Because rounds should not be neglected. And how many of you are in the same situation? Also, no round.
Not today, Guru Maharaj. Yes, yesterday I couldn't do one round. Yesterday I did 15.
Huh?
I did 15 rounds yesterday. One was remaining, and today I have to finish
And
my
today
16.
you're just loafing around the whole day. That's no excuse. I mean, I'm seeing you, that you had so much time. You didn't go to work, you didn't do anything. You were just hanging around here. God talking to, like, if you wanted, you could have finished your.
I'll finish it tonight, Guru Maharaj.
Don't do that. Don't neglect your. And Charadashna, don't allow this kind of situation to recur again.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
I mean, if you feel that you, then ask somebody else to do whatever you're doing. Because don't, like this slackness is not at all good. And that's why I suggest chant your rounds early in the morning, before your day begins. Because once it begins, I know, because you all are so fond of socializing that during the day you won't get any time. I mean, it happens with me, like if I can't finish my rounds in the morning, then it drags on during the day. You remember, the most important thing is chanting. Everything else is next to that, secondary. Right? Like, next important thing is reading. Then third thing is association. Fourth is service. Like, because the most important service is hearing and chanting. So chanting is serving. So that's the most important service. Then reading is hearing. Associating with devotees, of course, when I mean associating, not for gossiping, like association should be hearing, discussing. Satan prashangan mama birja samviko. The association of sadhus, what happened in the association of sadhus? Powerful discussion about me goes on. Shinnatan sa katha Krishna punna shravana kirtan. So this hearing is very important. So when I say read Prabhupada's books, that means hearing Srila Prabhupada. And yes, then comes association and reading Prabhupada's books, association, and then render some service if you have the time. So your service for the seminar was the fourth one. All right. Like, and then you don't have to, like, if you're so stressed, then tell him to do it. All right? Shiva Krishna. And fourth is service, and fifth is preaching. So these are the 5 important activities. So one thing I'll tell you, you don't have to cook day after tomorrow. Right? Because rather you finish your rounds.
I'll finish my rounds and I'll cook. Sorry, never happens. Usually both of us get up at 5 o'clock. We finish our rounds. At least do majority of them before we leave home. Yesterday was just one day. It was.
Today also you say?
Today most of today's rounds are done. I'm just catching
Okay,
up on
only
yesterday's
yesterday's
rounds.
round. Very good. And everyone else's round is going all right?
Well, my
So
rounds are okay, but it's not, it's very, just for the sake of doing it. I'm not, I haven't been actually very good at getting up early in the morning, so that's why I struggle.
Anyway, try to be as attentive as possible. But what can be done? This situation is so difficult in Phage. In normal condition, people won't even walk and chant. The way to chant is actually in a meditative way, sitting down at one place. But in ISKCON we do it because Prabhupada could see that today, in this period of time, in this phase of time, we all are so much in the mode of passion. Like for us to practice that very lofty standard of goodness may not be possible. So even then, just at least make it a point to finish your rounds. And then if you can improve your round, that's even better. That's very good. And how is your spiritual life going in general? Everyone, do you feel satisfied the way things are? Somendra, tell me what's the problem?
I'm feeling a little bit less with reading, Guru Maharaj. So I'm trying to find the time for the reading, but I couldn't find the time for the reading. I know that I can find time, but it's just not happening. So, like Sevas Rasha Guru said, like chanting is happening, and just have this good fortune to stay next to a temple, so I try to attend the Mangala Aartis.
You attend Mangala Aarti every day.
So, but the reading part, I tried to stay for the Bhagavad Gita class, but couldn't do it for every day, just for the weekends. So reading is, or not reading is hampering.
Try to read. How often do you all meet with each other?
We try to do the Ishtagoshti fortnightly. So now before you're coming, we are doing it like each week in the month for the last 2 months. But fortnightly.
Monthly.
Monthly.
Monthly, not even fortnightly.
Monthly.
Gurumaj, Rajshekhar, Somendra and myself, we try to meet every week. We study Srimad Bhagavatam once a week, and try to complete some of the chapters, some of the verses.
Of course, the best will be to be in a bigger group, like like all the congregation, if you could. Because personally, I don't like, to become fragmented in groups. But if that is necessary for your spiritual benefit, then do that. Because monitoring is very important. Some sort of monitoring is necessary. And at least try to meet every fortnight, once in 2 weeks, once in 2 weeks. Will it be difficult for you all?
If you look at from local congregation point of view, Vijay Guptesh Prabhu has designed a sadhana card which has chanting, then reading, listening, hearing.
I have also.
So
I expect my disciples to fill in that. Did I give it to you all here? Sadhana chart. What time you? The first thing is what time you go to bed. Because that is important about what time you get up. So time to go to bed, time you get up. Number of rounds chanted, time you read Prabhupada's books. Yeah, mainly that.
Do you have it on your laptop or something?
I can show you, yet we have it in my laptop. I can send it to you.
That would be good.
Hmm?
You can circulate it.
So, and will you send it to me every month?
Yes.
I tell you, it helps.
Yes.
Because when you know that you have to send me the thing, then you shape up.
Yes. No much. Yes.
Yeah, and how is that one? Did you go?
That is also same probably because it has before 9 o'clock how many rounds you do, so accordingly your ranking and marking will be done. Okay, and better if we do it at Brahma Muhurta. Beyond that, then it should be before 9 o'clock. And if you are doing it in the afternoon, then less marks
Why?
accordingly.
What?
Because
Chanting?
yeah, chanting.
I see.
I mean, most there's
Before
just
Brahma Muhurta?
No, Brahma Muhurta you should start
Yeah.
and finish it by 7:30 maximum. If not, then before 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see, like if you can finish your rounds in the morning, you'll feel so much better. You know what Prabhupada said? Prabhupada once said, I finished my 16 rounds, now I can do any nonsense. He was actually, speaking about us, that we finished our 16 rounds, now we can do any nonsense. But then Prabhupada said, if you chant your 16 rounds, you cannot do any nonsense. Because that 16 rounds keeps us straight. You chant your 16 rounds, you won't be able to do any nonsense. Especially when it is done early in the morning.
So I have a question, Prabhupada, because during the daytime we don't have time because we are working to read the Prabhupada book. So I think I chant 2, 3 or 4 rounds in the morning and try to read the Prabhupada book so we can improve our sadhana and then we can help others as well. So is that more important or we have to still finish the round first and then read Prabhupada book?
Well, if you have work to do, and I can understand, your day begins at 7. Yeah.
With
So,
the book.
and okay. organize your time in such a way that you can chant your rounds.
Yeah, like I like to prefer do 4 rounds in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. And then
Don't divide it that way. Rather try to finish at least 10 rounds in the morning. Because 4 now, 4 then. It's not good. Right? 10 rounds in the morning. Better still is 16. And to coordinate your this Ishtagoshti that I was talking about, won't it be good to have somebody who will coordinate it, kind of a leader of the group?
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh? So, who should be the leader?
Bharat Prabhu.
Bharat Shrestha?
Yes.
I tell you, leader means a servant. In Krishna consciousness, in material world, leader means a boss. Isn't it? Leader is a boss. But if the spiritual world is diametrically opposed, then what does the leader mean?
Servant. Then we have servant leader as well.
Yes. Ours is a society of servants. So whoever is the biggest servant should be the leader.
Should we do it fortnightly, Guru Maharaj, or monthly?
Fortnightly?
Fortnightly.
So first of all, Bharat Shrestha, ready to become everyone's servant? Everybody, just remember this point.
There is one thing, because we have also running Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Vriksha every week, so that makes us difficult to attain those as well, and plus do the Ishtagoshti. Because then we are forced to neglect kids and the house chores, these things. So what we have is
How often do you Bhakti Shastri?
every week.
Now in Bhakti, not Bhakti Vriksha, but not
Bhakti
you are
Vriksha is on
teaching Bhakti
Saturday.
Shastri,
I'm
or you are studying Bhakti?
I'm studying Bhakti Shastri, but we have Bhakti Vriksha where we are preaching.
Find the time, like when you are doing it, because otherwise what will happen, the group will become fragmented. If everybody comes and if you don't come, it sets a bad example. If you don't come, then everybody else will find some excuse. So make it a point to attend. Like how often do you Bhakti Vriksha?
Every week, Saturday.
So if you can do a Bhakti Vriksha, like what time do you do Bhakti Vriksha?
It is early morning, 9 o'clock we have Bhakti Shastri, then at 3 o'clock we have Bhakti Vriksha, and then,
Where is Bhakti Shastri you doing?
sorry?
Where you are doing Bhakti Shastri?
Bhakti Shastri is happening at our home. So Vijay Gopikesh Prabhu comes and he teaches us. So we are getting trained there and then we have to train others in the Bhakti Vriksha.
When do you meet the
It's usually Sunday 3 to 5.
Sunday 3 to 5?
Yeah, because Guru Maharaj, what happens is most of the devotees, they come for the Sunday feast. So we said, okay, 2 hours before that, so that, or an hour before that, that makes it.
So Sunday, you said Saturday you are doing that. What about Sunday?
Sunday we have leadership meeting in the morning, which Vijay Gopikesh Prabhu is the leader for that, and all the leaders who are teaching in Bhakti Vrikshas or doing Bhakti Shastris, they are supposed to attend, and so we are supposed to come and attend that meeting and then attend the Bhagavatam class. That's where.
And then what? Then what happens? So what do the leaders do?
So we discuss about whatever reporting we do at there. And
No,
then
I'm
there is a
asking
goal
what the
setting.
leaders do then. Like you have leaders meeting,
Yeah.
but then what do the leaders do?
Then we discuss about
Leaders is
pastimes.
not just a discussion. What's the action of the leaders?
Action of the leaders is to do next. So there's a goal setting. So what next we are going
So
to
make
do.
this the goal. Like whatever you're learning in the leadership course or thing, apply it here. Just meet, like what's the big deal about finding about 2 hours, or is 2 hours or 1 hour?
2 hours.
2 hours.
No,
2 hours. So you're coming to Sunday feast in any case. Just why don't you come 2 hours before and just attend this? You can attend so many programs, so why not attend this? Otherwise, what will happen? Like the group will be confused. Otherwise, there is no need to do this. Either do it or don't do it. Either do it in a way that everybody participates or don't do it at all. Now you decide that. As I was saying, like it would be better if it's a whole ISKCON group together. But if it's not happening, do they have any structure like that? If it's not happening, then at least have this group and try to help each other. Like somebody was suggesting, who was suggesting? Oh, I think it was Shravanananda, that I give some sort of Skype class. 3 o'clock in Australia. Maybe or those 2 days I can give a kind of a class.
That would be awesome.
That would be really good.
Very good.
yes.
But at the same time, we don't want to put much pressure on you as well.
Let me
We are
see.
asking to Guru Maharaj to
Like that's what I was thinking. 3 o'clock means about
10:30.
10 o'clock your time.
10:30 in India. It's not so bad. Sunday morning.
With Gurmat, all of us has to be together to listen. It's not like if you are doing Skype and everyone is sitting at home and doing Skype.
So that's what I'm meaning. When you are doing this
Ishtagoshti.
Ishtagoshti,
So we make it a point that everyone will be there in person rather than
Yeah.
Skype.
yeah.
Because in the
Like you can have a amplified
Yeah.
system, amplifying system. That is really, I don't even need to do it through Skype. I can do it through some regular
stream.
stream. That's even better. Skype sometimes is not the best. Or maybe, like anyway, we can try it out. So can you coordinate it with me? Right. So 3:30 means 11 o'clock Indian time. So I can give a class for 1 hour, or even I can do it after the second half. Like first you all can meet. What will be better, the first half or second half?
I think second half. Second half.
Second half will be better. So 12 to 1 is fine. I can. When I'm in India, I can do that. When I'm in America, what it will be? 5 o'clock in the morning. No,
The previous day.
Europe will be 5 o'clock.
It may
America will be
midnight.
in the
5 o'clock?
midnight, isn't
Midnight,
it?
yeah.
Midnight. America will be in midnight,
18 hours behind.
like 12 o'clock in the night.
We can adjust that. Gurmat,
We can adjust at that time, and if you
Yeah.
when your traveling is happening like that, we can adjust our Ishtagoshti timing according to that. But Sunday there is no Bhakti Vriksha, Bhakti Shastri class normally. So on Sunday it's flexible, we can do it.
Okay, let's see. At least now I'm here. I don't have to give a Skype class. Tomorrow, of course, Sunday, and it'll be the time for the class seminar. We'll all be in the seminar. You see, I'm saying it because sometimes I feel very bad. Like I feel that I'm giving initiation, but I'm not taking care of those devotees, taking care of you all. Like when I come here, I have a little contact. When I go away, I have no contact.
So Gurmat, that streaming would be useful for others as well, like in New Zealand.
Yeah, that can be allowed in
New Zealand, they can also
Ishtagoshti.
sit
Yeah, right.
over there.
Right.
Brisbane, they can sit over there as well.
Yeah.
Janagarash Prabhu also attends the
Huh?
Ishtagoshti. Janagarash Prabhu also attends our Ishtagoshti. So he does it through Skype.
He doesn't have choice.
He doesn't have any choice.
Huh?
He doesn't have choice other than coming by Skype.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he comes to Ishtagoshti as well.
Janakraj was supposed to come during this time.
To Sydney.
I don't know.
Guru Maharaj is organizing.
I forgot to ask him.
He's
Yeah,
organizing.
he's
He's very busy.
He is very sincere.
He was way ahead. When we started off jogging Sydney seminar, Sunshine Coast seminar was already done. Like he already planned everything, booked, and he was telling me that today I finalized it, and that day we were asking that, okay, you are now starting planning.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. He's like a role model for us, Guru Maharaj.
Maybe what I can do is, for about half an hour, 45 minutes I can give the class. And then for about 15-20 minutes I can have some sort of interaction with you. If you all are there in the form. Now I'm seriously considering that, like doing some sort of, making some sort of arrangements where I can stay in touch.
Watch any session for the other 1 hour. What we started to read on Vaishnava etiquette, and listen to one of the lecture, and then try to find out the points from there. Any session what we can do in that 1 hour, like before, after, then you come and start the lecture.
Discuss among yourselves and see what would be the most practical thing.
Guru Maharaj, this the disciples, the Ishtagoshti, the number of disciples, they're growing. So how can we actually have the bonding? That is something that I would like you to tell us, like how can we actually bond together better? Because as it will grow, or as it is growing, there can be too many, there could be pulls and pulls and
You
pushes.
see, the primary factor for bonding should be Krishna. It should start from there. Instead of that, if the bonding starts with the Guru, then we run the risk of developing groupisms. This Guru's group, that Guru's group. That will be very damaging. Therefore, like the principal consideration should be Krishna. Why are we here? To get Krishna. Then the next consideration should be Prabhupada and ISKCON. Especially our emphasis should be with Prabhupada, but then again that emphasis should be with Krishna in the center. Like why we came to Prabhupada? What is so special about Prabhupada? Because Prabhupada is giving us Krishna. And then the third stage is, or third consideration is, the Guru. Then the focus will be proper. Otherwise, if you start off with Guru, it will end there. And it will start to become even more fragmented. But if you start with the right connotation, with the right understanding, then everything will be alright. Why are we here? Because we love Krishna. What is the way to get Krishna? What is the way to get to know Krishna? Prabhupada. And then comes, there is somebody who is actually helping us to understand Prabhupada and approve Prabhupada. That is our spiritual master. So make this understanding very clear among yourselves. Then the harmony will automatically be there. Then there won't be groups. Then it will be in that, like the groups are there for the sake of convenience, right? Like just see any structure that you see, you will find, groups and subgroups for the sake of convenience, like the army, right? In the army, say you have the captain. The captain has his troop. Then you have the major. Right? The thing is that the captain's troop are not just saying that my captain is the best and he is all in all. We don't care for anything. If that happens, then that army will go defunct. But what is the real structure? There is a major. So many captains with their troops are under the major. Right? Then there is a colonel. So many majors are under the colonel. Then the brigadier. So many colonels are under the brigadier. Right? And then the general. And but the whole structure is there for a purpose. What is the purpose? The defense of the nation. Now, if they forget about that objective, the defense of the nation, and then they start doing their groupism, then will that be an army? So that is how we have to actually structure ourselves. The structure is necessary, small groups are necessary, but not to just, get into that schism through the groups. I mean, this is a major challenge we have in ISKCON, and I tell you frankly, seeing the affairs of ISKCON today, it's not happening. ISKCON is not one unified body in that sense. Like what happens when it's a one unified body, like the army, one unified body. The command comes from the top. This regiment go there to fight the battle. That command is final. So why Prabhupada created ISKCON? Because Prabhupada saw to continue this worldwide preaching mission in his absence. When Prabhupada was here, everything was alright because, his authority was final. But after Prabhupada's disappearance, we are running through all these problems, the authority structure is not really. And another problem actually is the authority structure, the way Prabhupada created is GBC body, GBC secretaries, temple presidents, so forth. Temples are the units. But that structure is not really functional in a true sense, because we have created a parallel line of authority. That parallel line of authority is the authority of the gurus. Like in most cases you will see that the GBC is not really the authority of the zone or the area. The devotees are not really listening to the GBC, they are listening to the gurus. So these are the few mistakes we made and few challenges that we have. So actually what should be ideal? Yes, gurus are necessary, gurus are training, but what the guru should train? Follow Prabhupada and his ISKCON. Follow Prabhupada's structure. Temples are the units. Commit yourselves to a temple. Right. Your GBC is the authority. Follow the order of the GBC. Then what will happen? The structure will become very effective. Anyway, we are learning through our mistakes. And you see, you all are, mature individuals, intelligent individuals. You have voluntarily accepted Krishna consciousness. So commit yourself to that, and there is no need to hide and play hide. I don't want to hide anything from. Often people feel sensitive to discuss about these topics. But that's not right also. Like everybody should know what needs to be done. If I don't explain these things to you, then actually I am doing some injustice. And we have to be straightforward. Become serious and avoid groupism. See as a unified body, ISKCON. Small groups are there to effectively function for the sake of the bigger group. That's our truth. When you get together, your business should be how we can help the temple, how we can help the propagation of Krishna consciousness. It shouldn't be just a social get-together. How we can help each other in our spiritual life. These are as you're asking, what should you discuss? These are the things that you should discuss. If necessary, include Varanayaka Prabhu in that. He is the temple president. Include him. And ask him, look, we are here. How can I effectively serve the temple?
I think that's a valid point for
Hmm?
Sometimes the perception comes as like, say, when there is Ishtagostis, sometimes the perception might come as like, it's some particular guru's.
See, that's why the first thing I said, I don't want that to happen.
Yes.
Rather, you all get together to how to effectively serve the temple, how to enhance Krishna consciousness movement, how to expand this movement, how to expand our preaching. Effectively think of that. And most of you are householders, and you consider how you can free yourself from your household responsibilities to be more involved in Krishna conscious activities. That's how you have to help each other. So this is preach about Krishna consciousness to each other too. That's why household life is very difficult. I mean, you all are householders. I'm bad. I feel bad, I feel bad to say that. But the reality is that, and I'm sure you all are understanding that. Like yesterday, one devotee came and speaking to me. The mother and son came. Really, you all know her. She's from Melbourne. She's originally from South Africa. And she was telling her son, don't get married. She was telling that getting married, household life, simply sucks your energy. You don't have any more time for Krishna conscious activity. Okay, fine. Like that doesn't mean that you should leave your household and go out. No, make an adjustment. That's what I was telling him yesterday. So take up the responsibility to maintain the sannyasis, banaprasthis and brahmacharis. That is your household life. Right? Let that be the household life. And now that you have gone through it, tell the brahmacharis not to get married. Tell them, man, don't get into that trap. Yes, Olga?
Sorry, no. In the Ishtogoshti, when we meet together, like we like to listen to your lecture and then we discuss sadhana, whatever. Other thing is like it can be more creative. We can like it together. We do something for the temple, like some action plan for the preaching.
Fine,
so I
right,
think
yeah.
it's a good idea. Then everybody will be more enthusiastic to help temple in certain service. We can
Maybe
take
one
responsibility.
thing you can do is that as a group, you take up the responsibility to cook the Sunday feast once a month.
Very good point.
Ah.
Yeah.
So that will be such a nice.
Except like
And, yeah, preaching as well.
And you know, like I tell you, the real association comes to service. Do things together, and you like make that a point. That once a month, you are going to make the Sunday feast, right?
We have we just started in the same temple.
And
Bhakti Darshan.
and make it a point that Sunday feast becomes the best Sunday.
Well, Guru Maharaj, we can't change the cook. Like the cook is already there.
We
So
can
That's
help
what, that's
him.
what Guru
No,
Maharaj meant.
take up tell them that we are going to cook. You're the good cooks.
okay. So Guru Maharaj, one of the things. So then, what's the temple committee, temple management? They're what they're making at the mission statement, or what they're thinking, what the strategy will be for the future. We should commit to that then,
Yeah,
and
sure.
help them.
Why not? Yeah. Like as I said, like consider that the temple is the unit. Temple is the unit through which you are going to render your service. Think that the temple is your main focus. Temple should be your focus. How this temple can be helped. So that way, I mean, I noticed that Bharat is very much concerned in that way. Like each time I come or whenever I talk to him, he just speaks about how to help the temple, now getting the land, and let's get the land and build the temple. Do it. Like everyone get together and try to help the temple. And that way what will happen? The others will also become inspired to do that. And include them. Don't think that, this is one group and that's another group. Invite everyone.
In that sense, we take really good care that we don't actually make that look like
Yeah.
it's
Don't make it
it's a disciples group or something. So we always
Right.
try to involve others as well. Like even in the seminars, the organization, there are a lot of other
Wonderful. Yeah. Right. That's what I said right at the beginning.
Even when we started this Ishtagoshti, I actually went and spoke to Varathak Prabhu that this is all right, and that we should. And he said it's all right, it's fine. And Vijay Gopikesh Prabhu also
See,
said it's all right.
you get together to, as I said, to figure out, first of course, how you're going to help each other in your spiritual life, and how you're going to help the temple. How can, because your service is through your temple. I tell you, the early days, the temple was naturally the center of all our activities, because most of the devotees were brahmacharis. There were very few householders, and even the householders didn't live outside. The householders were they were living either in the temple or just close to the temple, and their activities were centered around the temple. It's only, this is another phase which is natural. Those days, whoever joined, young boys and girls joined. And so naturally they became absorbed in the temple. The idea was joining means moving into the temple. But now we entered into another phase where others are coming in, those who are not really able to move into the temple, the householders. They have to maintain their family, therefore they are working. Now today, if you look at it, more, especially in the Western world, it's mostly householders. That's why and the brahmacharis also became householders. Those who were in brahmacharis those days, most of them became householders and most of them drifted away. Like how many Prabhupada disciples? Can you imagine? Like there were about 10,000 disciples. And today, hardly any around. Like, I mean, in a city like Sydney, I could track down only about 10. Can you imagine there was a time when there were just in Sydney area there were about 100 devotees. Where are they? So now, you see, the brahmacharis are there, therefore, the householders are the main, create the main, membership of our movement, especially in the West. And as a result of that, throughout the week temples are empty because all the devotees are working outside. Therefore we have to make an effort to fill up the temples. And I will suggest, encourage your children to become full-time devotees. There, what is your plan?
Yeah, I want to help the temple when I grow up. Like, I want to serve in the temple. I'm not planning on becoming a brahmachari and stay in the temple, but I will if I have to.
Anyway, now you're too young, but when you grow up, I'll ask you. Finish your studies. Now consider, in India, so many educated young boys are joining full time. In Ujjain we have about 10 devotees join, 10, qualified, like about 4 of them are, no, I think 5 of them are engineers. And other 5 are professionals like chartered accountants, business management, and they became full-time devotees. And maybe some of them will get married, but doesn't matter. When 5 out of 10 gets married, 25 more are going to come in. Like 10 have joined and 20 others are waiting to join. They're studying. Their objective is when they finish their studies, they're going to join. So that is how the temple is going to become effective. How many of you have been to Ujjain? How many brahmacharis are there?
Oh, many.
And that's why the temple is so,
Yes, very good.
so the temple is, so now we have to create that atmosphere here also. Like we have to preach. And preaching means make them understand what is the ultimate goal of life. I'll make a simple point. Okay, you want to take up a job. What kind of job you want to take up? You want to get the best job in the best company, biggest company, right? Now tell me what can be a better option than taking up a job with the biggest personality? Right? You want to become a servant of Bill Gates. You want to become a servant of Mitsubishi. You want to become a servant of, say, Infosys or Tata or So why not become a servant of Krishna? Right? Now you may say, well, Krishna won't pay me so much. Now, I was talking to who I was talking to today. Oh yeah, one devotee who came to see me. And I was asking him about, he was telling me how stressful his life is because of the struggle of earning money. And I asked him how much he spends and how much he earns. And it came out that whatever he's earning, he's spending. Right? I mean, whatever you earn, you spend just to maintain yourself. And working like a Dhanukasura. Now, and what is the benefit? Maybe you are benefiting something. You put some money in the bank. That's your savings. But then someday, God forbid, one has to die. So when he dies, then what happens to all the things that he has put in, all the money he put in the bank? What happens to that?
Government takes you.
Huh?
Government takes you away.
Oh yeah, okay. Or anyway, but the thing is, that means when you die, then you don't have any asset, you are empty. But if you are serving Krishna, then you'll find that inconceivable wealth is waiting for you in that other world. So that is the benefit in serving Krishna. So in serving Krishna, you may not get a lot of money. But who knows? Krishna may give you a lot of money. Who knows? But if you feel that, but even then, what is the loss? Because you are getting something that is precious. And you don't have to work so hard. Like everyone tells me how stressful their job is. It's so stressful. And the other day I was reading an article that those who are working in computer software industry, their span of service is only very limited because they can't carry on for too long. They're, like just glued into the screen, and it's so bad for the eyes, so bad for your physical condition.
Body structure as well.
Huh?
Body structure as well. The body. Where
Yeah,
it's like this.
exactly.
So the back.
So how long can you carry on?
So not only IT, Guru Maharaj, everything is based on
And
computer.
everything
now.
you do, like
Computer and
yeah.
it's necessary.
Like, working for others is always so bad. Like, and see how people are working hard just to earn some money. Look at the miners. Can you imagine every day for 8 to 10 hours, they're, 500-600 meters down the earth in total darkness. Those who are working in the factories, especially in steel plants and all, in that terrible heat, day after day, months after months, in the terrible heat. What a life. On the other hand, I don't know how you all feel, but I tell you, I feel so relieved that I didn't have to get into that life. I can't imagine myself in that life. Sometimes I feel that I am enjoying an eternal holiday. And this is what Krishna consciousness is. Whatever you do, it's a holiday. And of course, as leaders, we have to see that everyone is comfortable. The boys going out in book distribution, and they like it so much that they don't like to come back to. They like to come back to a temple in Ujjain, but they don't want to stay there for too long. And if I tell them stay back and do this service or that service, they feel really bad because they like to go out, and it's such fun, every day going to different places, different situations, traveling around and distributing books, and and that's the life of Krishna consciousness. Like whatever one does is so full of joy. Those who are doing the Pujari service, they're enjoying that service. Even those who are cooking in the kitchen, they're enjoying that service. Come to Ujjain, like you will see. At least one thing I can say, that those devotees are happy. Those devotees are, all the devotees, most of the devotees that are there, they're happy.
When we came back from Ujjain and Mayapur all over tour, and we explained everything to our relatives and my brothers, sisters, and Charles, everybody is so happy. They also want to come with us this time. They also want to come to Ujjain and go to Mayapur with us. So they are planning it that way.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, Guru Maharaj, I don't want to digress from the subject, but just one thing that just sticks in my mind in Ujjain is the service attitude of every devotee there. Right from the devotee who is at the front gate as a watchman to the devotee who's in the bookstall outside the temple, and to devotees who are serving the temple president itself. Such wonderful service attitude. It's exemplary. And this was in your absence. I cannot imagine what it would be in your presence there.
Maybe it will be different.
It's big difference here as well, Guru Maharaj. It's not the journey.
I think the thing is, different services are there. How does we instill in the devotees that all the services are the same? You know what I'm trying to say?
It's because if they enjoy what they're doing, then, and that feeling will come when they realize that what they're doing is for Krishna. That is the important thing. Like whatever we are doing is for Krishna. Whether I'm sweeping the floor, whether I'm cleaning the pots, whether I'm cooking, whether I'm cutting vegetables, whether I'm distributing books, whether I'm managing the temple, whether I'm rendering the deity service, all are for Krishna. Therefore they all are absolute. They are all for Krishna's pleasure. And Krishna is happy. Krishna is pleased when he sees that I'm doing it.
Guru, as a leader or something, how can I instill that feeling in them? What would be my role in that?
By reminding, by preaching, and by creating facilities for them. To properly lead, you have to engage. The activity must be there. Otherwise, just lectures aren't imparting the theoretical understanding will not work. While we are giving them the theoretical understandings, we have to provide them with the facilities for practical application. So one of the things I will tell you, all the householders, bring up your children very nicely, whether you have them already or not, and make it a point that they become good devotees. And make it a point that you train them to become good brahmacharis. I'll give you an example. You see, in America there is a temple. The temple president is a disciple of mine. He's a very effective person. He's a very successful businessman. And at the same time he was running the temple. And he used to request me to send pujaris from India. And I used to kind of express my reluctance that it is, because sending the boys from India to America means, ending their spiritual life. They come to America, they stay there for 3 years, they get their green card, and then they disappear.
That is what happens over here as well.
Huh?
Same
That is
thing
what
happens
happens over
here.
here.
Right, it's a similar situation. So the thing is, how can I, endorse that? How can I be a part of, destroying their spiritual life? And he was insisting, temples, you can't maintain the temple without devotees from India. Americans are join. Then I told him, why not preach to the Americans and make them join? Like if you don't preach, then they're not going to walk into the temple on their own. Therefore, you are not preaching. That's why they are not coming. So preach. And his point was how difficult it was to make devotees. I said, it is difficult because you haven't created the proper atmosphere. Like during our time when we were young, when Prabhupada was there, temples were filled with American devotees. So you can't say that Americans are not going to join. If you make the presentation properly, Americans will join. So this way we are discussing. Then at one point I just asked him, just to make that point that you haven't created that atmosphere for them to join. I meant that you have to create the atmosphere so exciting that people will feel like joining. And he has a son. So then at one point I asked him, will you want your son to become a devotee, full-time devotee? I mean, he probably never thought of it, or it just came to him. And for a few seconds, he could answer. I could see that he was thinking. And then finally he told me no. Then I told him, if you, being the temple president of the temple, don't want your son to join the temple, how can you expect that anybody else's son will join the temple? So the point is, we must create the atmosphere of the temple so exciting that we should be the first one to offer our children. This is the goal of life. Now, if we don't allow our children, then what's the use of our preaching? That's hypocritical. That's a farce. My son will go and become a corporate executive, and let your son come and take care of the temple. My point is that make the temple atmosphere so exciting that it will be much better an option than becoming a corporate executive. That is what we have to do.
I have two questions on that. One is, how do we change the focus so that Westerners will be attracted towards temple and our activities will happen? Second is, when a new devotee comes, he is very interested, but he is very qualified and well educated. If we ask him to do service in the kitchen and he starts only cleaning the pots, he would not be interested in doing anything more. Because his intelligence, his qualification should be utilized somewhere else, maybe in the intellectual.
Not necessarily. When I joined, the first service I was asked to do is clean the pots. And I did it happily. Because when I came to Krishna consciousness, I knew that I was coming to serve Krishna. And service to Krishna is the main goal. And you know what they asked me the next thing to do? Cut the grass for the cows. And I was happy to do it. So that's the thing, that's why preaching is necessary. We have to preach to make them understand the advantage of serving Krishna, the benefit of serving Krishna, the excitement to serve Krishna.
But we won't be able to explain them unless we have done it ourselves.
Right. So go ahead and do it. Like you wash the pots in the kitchen, right? And let them eat and sit down and take prasad. Like if we tell them that you do it and if I just do something else, then it won't work. We have to be with them, especially when we are guiding them, leading them, attracting them.
Other thing was the focus and what kind of program we should be doing so that others, the Westerners will come. Because Indians, by tendency, they will come.
But how many Indian boys are joining the temple?
Many.
Huh?
Many are joining.
No,
Not
full
joining
time.
means-
Full time, no.
No,
Why not?
Australian born Indians.
Right. Like that's the thing we have to do. Like if we, as I said, like if we want others' children to come and join, then we have to send our children first. We have to, otherwise we are not convinced about the process. If we say, well, I will, go and preach and tell the world how important Krishna consciousness is, but if we don't lead our own children to that life, then does it mean that we are convinced about the process? One of the first things Prabhupada told me, during one of our first meetings, Prabhupada told me, just offer this life to Krishna. And he said, for many, many lifetimes, you have been trying to enjoy and you can see that you're still not satisfied. So offer this life to Krishna. And then Prabhupada spoke to me for about 45 minutes explaining that. Prabhupada was just explaining. And then finally he told me, after explaining about the importance of offering ourselves completely to Krishna, Prabhupada finally told me that, and even if nothing happens, what's the loss? Just one lifetime out of so many. So if one lifetime goes to waste, what's the loss? Even that way, it's just one lifetime that we're offering and see what happens. Just offer yourself, offer this life to Krishna and see what happens. And very fortunately, after 2.5 months, Prabhupada shut the door behind me, gave me sannyas. And there was no way to go back. So I'll tell you, whether you're a householder or brahmachari, doesn't matter. Offer this life to Krishna. Just offer this life to Krishna, because unless and until we make this sacrifice, how this movement is going to spread. And systematic program should be organized like the way we do it in India. You know, how are you attracting so many young educated boys? They create kind of a hostile situation near the university. And they stay and they guide them, you know, to Krishna conscious lifestyle. So they stay there, you know, they practice Krishna consciousness, they study. Often I tell the boys that don't neglect your studies. And they say no, there is no, actually we have plenty of time. The time that we are otherwise wasting watching movies and watching TVs and all that, now we don't waste that time anymore. So we have plenty of time to study. And as a result of that, what's happening, that they're, you know, like, they're getting such a solid Krishna conscious foundation that that after many of them, what they're doing, like they themselves are leading the basis. They're coming out of the college and they're leading the other students. And they're motivating them, you know, to become full-time devotees. And they're such an educated young boys, are such an asset. It's such an asset. And eventually I tell them that, you know, like, when you have so many such young educated boys, most of them are Hindi speaking, and I tell them that eventually they have to go and start preaching in the villages, because that is not happening. Like and they're happy, they're excited to do that. Go to the villages, preach to the villages. And in this way you can convert the villages. You know, that will be such a solid base. We have focused mainly on the cities, but you know, like there is a need to go, especially in India, need to go to the villages. Because India is village. The real India is in the villages.
Because Guru Maharaj, the proper leadership and guidance is very much required.
So give it.
Which I don't have.
Have to, you know, like, you know, understand the need, educate yourself with the knowledge and apply it. That's what it means.
Also, Guru Maharaj, I think when also we have a leader, I think it's also pretty important to listen to the authority.
That's a good point. Like, to become a good leader, first you have to become a good follower. It's a good follower that makes a good leader. And in Krishna consciousness, as I was saying, a good leader is a good servant. Our attitude is, what can I do for you? Not, what can I get out of you? Material tendency is, what can I get out of you? But spiritual attitude is, what can I do for you? And I tell you, leader, what is a leader? Who is a leader? Leader has to have three qualities. A leader must have a vision. A leader must be able to motivate his followers. He must be able to motivate others. And a leader must be able to facilitate his followers to achieve the goal. Like, again, I go back to that analogy of the army. The general sends the army to the front. The soldiers are fighting. But what does the general do? What does the general do? He takes care that they have all the supply. They have all the facilities to fight the battle. The more effectively he can provide that supply, the more effectively the soldiers will be able to fight. He is giving them the right weapons to fight, ammunitions to fight, medical care, food supply. And they can, then they can peacefully fight. But if the soldiers in the front have to, arrange for the supply of ammunition, arms, medical supply, food supply, how will they fight? Rather, therefore, in a similar way, the leader must send his men and say, don't worry, I'm with you, we are with you, whatever you need will be there. Just you go and fight. I can tell you one thing that I am doing in Ujjain. The devotees there don't have to worry about anything. They don't have to worry about anything. I've been taken care of. And I tell you, Krishna has been taken care of. And they're just, and now I tell you, like initially there was a financial strain on me. I didn't make, because Ujjain is generally, ISKCON in India, ISKCON temples, how they maintain themselves? Any idea?
Is it donation?
By making life members.
Okay.
Every temple has this life member makers. They go out and make life members, and the money that they bring, they just maintain the temple with that. When I got involved in Ujjain, I told them no life membership program in Ujjain. If somebody on his own wants to come and become a life member, that's a different thing. But we are not going to go out to make life members. Another thing is, Ujjain is a small place. How many life members could you make? But today we are in a situation, that we don't really have to worry about, at least finances. Of course, as I said, Krishna is taking care. Krishna is literally taking care. And that's the important thing to realize through your personal experience, that when you serve Krishna, Krishna takes care. Okay, already 8:30 now.
What about the candidates?
Yeah, who are the candidates? Did you send the Suresh Krishna? Did you send the email?
Yes, I got an email, got email address from him. I didn't get a chance to send him an email.